Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts and you're catching me at True Divine 44. I appreciate you all for being here. Please check out my other socials, add yourself, friend yourself, whatever it is on whatever social. They're all in the description box below. I appreciate you all very, very much commenting and sharing and liking, of course. This is another write-in on the wall, and I just wanted to bring a knowing that I've had that I've spoken out quite a bit over Facebook and other platforms about regarding the changes that in particular, but worldwide in particular, the British Parliament have been making, the government have been making in order to line the pockets even more and more in exorbitant amounts of the corporate world, of their friends and family, and taking away from small business, from individuals, in the people in the collective that they're meant to serve. And so a lot of things have been passed while everybody was distracted with something that they should never have allowed themselves to get distracted with. And so I came across a poem, and then Abby gave me an added one on from some of the forums that she's on, and I don't know who wrote it, but this being an old rhyme, and it's boss makes a dollar, I make a dime, that's why I shit on the company's time. And I'm bringing to you to show you the tiniest details. I'm bringing this poem to you to show you the tiniest details that these people go to make working the most uncomfortable, most unhealthy process ever. And the government during this time forcing small businesses to shut down, and then allowing big corporate businesses to open up unnecessary extra stores during that time. Where is the logic in that? Taking on new staff, in their eyes, if they want to go along with the pandemic, then opening up yet another breeding ground for everybody to share their germs in. So it doesn't make any sense at all, other than to finally see it for what it is. And this is being one of the big blows. This has already been World War III on many levels, in that it has conditioned us and channeled us into a place where we are far less effective, where we have given in far too much. And they go to the finest detail to create the most unhealthy way of working, to create the most uncomfortable way of working. So we're starting to see corporations do things that are completely unnecessary, other than to be narcissistic pricks who just want to line their pockets even more. So we have that rhyme, and it says, boss makes a dollar, I make a dime, that's why I shit on the company's time. And I say that because, and I'll share the screen, they go to such detail that people would not believe. They go to such detail that this is a patent that makes workers uncomfortable. It makes it a very uncomfortable place to sit. They've designed it perfectly so that it does nothing good for the back. It does nothing good for the pelvis, which is very, very unhealthy, to say the least. To have people work with hidden disabilities, like myself, that's what it says on paper. You need a bathroom that is suitable and usable, and so it makes it so that you don't want to sit on there for any length of time. And they've gone to the extent of measuring out the degrees, 13 degrees, wouldn't you believe, but we'll get to that. And they call it the standard toilet. So it doesn't look, as the title, it doesn't look anything bad. It's a standard toilet when it's anything but. It is a new patent pending after a lot of work to make it the most uncomfortable toilet. Bosses already monitor employees' emails, Slack messages, and keystrokes to increase productivity at work. Now, a British company, Standard Toilet, has developed a toilet that discourages long bathroom breaks. The company has filed a patent for a fixture designed to increase employee productivity by making it uncomfortable for anybody to dwell on the toilet seat. Current toilet seats provide horizontal seat-in surface. Standard Toilet's website states. This enables the user to sit relatively comfortably on the toilet. And apparently that's a problem. Sloping forward at an angle of 13 degrees, Standard Toilet's product is designed to make it uncomfortable to spend any longer than about 5 minutes on it without experiencing leg strain. Mahabra Gill, founder of Standard Toilet, told Wired UK in an article published on Monday. 13 degrees is not too inconvenient, but you'd soon want to get off the seat quite quickly, Gill told the magazine. The magazine reported that Gill is in talks with several local councils and service stations to use his product. By using our uniquely designed WC, the time spent on the WC is considerably reduced, easing queuing, congestion, and benefiting businesses, Standard Toilet's website claims. WC is water closet. If it's different in other countries, I don't know, but it's the toilet. Raymond Martin is the managing director of the British Toilet Association group that endorsed the patent on Standard Toilet's website. Citing overcrowding of public restrooms, Martin said, "We're endorsing a new design which may help people use the toilets better because it keeps everybody moving, but it doesn't. At this angle, it actually impairs the movement of the bowel and the bladder. And actually, if you have any bowel conditions and back conditions, you're basically buggered because it will really be very uncomfortable and probably quite unusable." Jennifer Kaufman-Burrer, assistant professor of design history at Purdue University in Indiana, said the toilet makes assumptions about the kind of person who will be using it. It kind of imagines that the process of urinating and defecating are these mechanical aspects of our bodies that always operate in the way that they are supposed to, which we all know they don't. That we all have bowels that move efficiently, which of course, me included, don't. That we all pee at the same level. Kaufman-Burr said, I hope I'm saying her name right, bodies aren't standard, and they are not. In an email, Standard Toilet told HuffPost that the product is not designed to replace toilets for people with disabilities. Oh, no. Assuming that the product was in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and other countries' regulations for accessibility, there could still be issues if this toilet were to go mainstream, a workplace disability expert said. Nadine Vogel is the CEO of Springboard Consulting, a business that works with companies on how to serve workers with disabilities. Quote, it is necessarily unusable for all by a universal design point. Is it, necessarily? Vogel said is the question Standard Toilet should be asking themselves to be more inclusive of employees with disabilities. What is accessible is not always usable, Vogel said. And I agree with that. Vogel outlined scenarios of workers who may or may not have a documented disability but need longer bathroom breaks. It could be a diabetic worker who needs to take a glucose test while sitting comfortably on a toilet seat, she said, or it could be somebody needing that break for their mental health. The fact that the concern is extended employee breaks, well, what about the people that have some kind of mental health situation that actually need that kind of longer break, Vogel said. Employees already feel pressured to take shorter breaks. And so this Harvey Moloch, a professor of sociology in New York University, I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering the names, and co-editor of Toilet, Public Restrooms and the Politics of Sharing, said his immediate reaction to the patent was that it was a spoof. I confirmed through the United Kingdom's Intellectual Property Office that Gill's toilet with an inclined seating surface patent is real, and that the patent filing was published August 14th. In general, Multock, I think it is, said this toilet monitoring is part of a history of anxiety that people are misusing toilet facilities for things not intended, and indeed doing things that are sinful: drugs, sex, loafing. I don't know what that is. Sounds bad when you talk about toilets. Kaufman Burr said this product assumes how an employee's time should be managed. I do think it's a very capitalist mentality that people's physical bodies and its problems and limitations are inconveniences to modern capitalism that want you to be productive, whatever the cost, Kaufman-Burr said. Employees already feel pressure to take shorter bathroom breaks. 74% of Amazon warehouse workers avoid using the toilet out of fear of being warned about missing their target numbers, according to a survey of more than 100 employees by worker rights platform Organize. Office design can add another physical layer to this pressure to be an efficient worker, since direct surveillance would be indecent invasion of the most private of our acts. Employers control workers' toilet habits through equipment, Moloch said. Instead of a real cop, the cop is built into the machinery itself, he added. So it seems like a silly thing to bring to you, but I just wanted to say that we've been so complacent to allow, because basically we have to accept that corporation has been, government has absolutely now sold out to corporation. And so this is what we are dealing with. These are the kind of things that control us. These are the kinds of small insidious things that they do. And they sneak it in everywhere, and government backs it. And to be honest, it's just, they go to where we've been complacent, they go to the tiniest detail, as in creating incline for a toilet. This guy has this patent because a lot of companies are already interested in it. When I looked at this, a lot of companies are ready to snap his hand off. And so it shows that they go to the smallest detail, the most insidious detail, like the stools at the till. They deliberately buy ones that are so difficult to sit on. So by law, they've got a stool there, but actually the stool is absolutely unusable for most body shapes and sizes. So when you look at the toilet, one second, sorry. Sorry, kids. So yeah, this is the layers of detail that they go to. So where we have been complacent in thinking things aren't a big deal, you know, if this passes, oh well, we'll just put up and shut up with it. We're going to find what's going to be coming up very much so in the next few months to year is the impact of all of these small details, all of these little things that have been passed while we've all been distracted by COVID. All of these things that give more power and more control and more layers of abuse to the corporations, and eliminate the individual more and more and more into this, you know, hive mind worker factory base. And so it's for us to get really active on these things, and for us to be not complacent where they have been diligent, but for us to be even more diligent than they are being, in order to speak up about these things, in order to say, oh, no, this is not right. this is not right. Are they going to do this in schools next? Because schools already have a very, very unhealthy way of looking at bathroom breaks. It was an issue when my boys were at school that you know, you need to remind little ones to go for bathroom breaks, and if you remind them throughout the day at the same time in nursery and whatnot, you do, you know, you do different rounds of kids, you know, one after the other, but different groups of kids, having a rota basis. You know, you remind them to go to the toilet every 20 minutes. One, you eliminate accidents, and two, you create a very healthy bowel and bladder. You eliminate illnesses such as kidney infections, bladder infections, constipation, prolapse of the bowel if the constipation gets too bad. And so it's just something to look at and start to be really diligent about what we are looking at and why these things are coming about. This is a toilet, and you know, the rhyme goes with it. The boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I shit on the company's time. They're even taking the right to sit there and shit in comfort away. And that's how diligent they are and how little they care about the health or well-being of any of us as workers, as slaves. It's the opposite. And so Abby had found me a really good rhyme that goes with this one. And it was boss made $1, I made a dime. That was a poem from a simpler time. Now boss makes 1,000 and gives us a cent, while he's got employees who can't pay the rent. So when boss makes 1,000,000 and workers make a jack, that's when we take riot and take our lives back. And so it's not to say, well, no, I'm not going to say that. It is to say that it is time that we start to be super diligent and super noisy about these small things. And that's where maybe some of the extreme sectors of our society that have been rioting for things that are very obviously trigger points of wounds. This is where, with wisdom and balance, we look at these details and we make noise that doesn't just get ignored because it's noise without context, because it's noise without backing, because it's noise without research, but making noise that they can't help but listen to, and doing something to start taking back a little bit of land at a time, because it is getting to that time. It is TikTok time of when we start to see the full ramifications of this lockdown period, of this time that they've had to privately pass law after law after law to empower the corporation and belittle, degrade, and strip away the rights of the individual. And so it is pressing. It is now. The time is now. I find that I've had emails also of, and this is something that I was thinking about anyway, and thinking, how are they going to do that? And so it turns out that that Walmart and other companies, other corporations in the UK here too, are using apps now. So it sounds real convenient. It sounds real good, you know, for rotas and things like that. And so this email confirmed for me that in this particular company that they've got to have a smartphone, one, to not everybody wants one of those now, to run the app and in order to work there, but also to sign paperwork to say that the company can look at the phone or can somehow scan the messages and make sure that, you know, you're being compliant to the company's rules. And that if you lose the phone, you might be liable for anything on there that might crop up later regarding, you know, company secrets and whatnot. This is where they're creeping in. And so to work, they've already got a plan in place to be in your phone. which is in your life even more, where the work and life living balance is getting way, way, way out of whack, and it's unable to sustain. And this is where they don't care, where we say, well, they wouldn't want to run everybody into the ground. I don't think they care, because I think they're already planning, and we know that, regarding how much robots can take over certain manufacturing and even shop assistant roles, and much, much more. And so I think, it's a way of slowly getting rid of people. They've got this multi-layered way of getting rid of people, and so they make money off workers that are going to become poorly, that are going to become more and more stressed, that are going to run themselves into the ground without them ever having to fire a bullet at said workers. And while they are running themselves into the ground, they are making money for the corporation, for the company, for the big man. And so it's sad, but we do have to accept that we've already been taken over in most countries. Corporations and the few behind them that fund them, that puppet them, have already taken over. We are already more subservient to them than we are our so-called governments. I don't know how so many got fooled. I don't know how so many closed their business down. I don't know how so many didn't look at the obvious and to say, hold on a minute, you're getting me to close my business down, but you are able to open more stores, big corporate stores. And that has been happening all over the world. So where small businesses, are deemed a germ pit and can't possibly stay open, these very large, usually very dirty stores are able to not just stay open and make the billions that they're already making, but take over the market even more by buying up cheap property, cheap retail space, because of course many of the businesses have gone underground, they won't come back. And so they've been able to get super cheap retail space, as they did in 2008 in America in particular, and build more stores, and even get help from the government to do so. So it's all messed up. And it's wrong of us to still continue to believe in these systems, in particular in the US and in particular in the UK. It is wrong of us to still maintain that this is tenable, that this is a way of that we can accept this at all. Because these are the small insidious things that they're doing. It leads to a much bigger thing. It leads to a Chinese-like rule. Doesn't Gates love the way that the CCP runs things? Doesn't he love the efficiency and the profit margins? Hasn't he stated that before? This is what we're dealing with, and enough is enough. And so it's time to make noise. And it's time, I think, for businesses worldwide to start claiming back. Well, they're throwing all of these billions around for all of these fake things that they're going to be throwing at us for the green things. Let's start claiming the billions back. Let's start actually not just making noise about wanting this one back in power or that one back in power, or what this one isn't doing or that one doing. Let's start putting claims in for losses, for true losses, not that is repayable, not that is from the tax, but the same way that they print money for themselves. Let's claim that back. Let's claim it back from the small line of banks that are behind this, that are owned by the few, that are puppeting this transition into a new cycle. Let's claim back and say in mass, let there be millions and millions and millions of papers landing on the desk of those banks. Why not? To say, okay, it's blatantly obvious that you manufactured this. One way or another, you are part of it. One way or another, you have benefited from it greatly. It was fraud. And now we want to claim back. We want to claim back what you took unfairly. And while you're at it, actually, you're out of a job. This kind of fraud, why can't they lose their banks? Why can't communities take over them? Why can't that happen? I think because we are still thinking within the limited constructs of the law of what we can do and can't do. But when we do something like that en masse, surely we can make an impact. And surely them changing the laws willy-nilly, changing the rules willy-nilly this whole time, 1 minute this, 1 minute that, shows that the law is bendable to them. They bend and change the law all of the time to fit them. They fit it around them like a suit, a well-cut suit. So maybe it's time for us en masse to say, actually, we can make something of what is already built. We can actually make something good of some of the constructs that are already built. We don't accept their authority totally anymore. That we now have some independent thought en masse and can see that and can say and can act upon the fact that it's not right. It's not right. And so I can feel my granddad squirming, because this is the man who would have done something about this. We fought against this kind of thing and actually won many battles for the progression of this kind of thing. And I cling at straws sometimes, I clutch at straws sometimes to say, so what do you want me to do? What can I do? What's going to have an impact? Who can I talk to? How can I act, Granddad? And I'm sure he says to me that now we need people. It needs the many. It needs the numbers. That we've allowed things to go too far down the line for just individuals to be doing little bits here and there. For us to somehow, some way get over our manufactured divisions and see that we all have one head of the snake that is coming after us, that is snacking its jaws towards us, spitting its venom. Might look like it's coming from other directions within the collective, but actually, when all's said and done, it is one head of a snake that is against us all. So that's the toilet, that's the shitting on the company's time. And that's us saying that we can't even do that anymore comfortably. So it's just something to help you start to look at these little things that have been changed and are being brought in, and to be aware of the kind of changes that are going to shock people regarding workers' rights, regarding what big corporations can get away with now, post-COVID. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Much love, balance and wholeness. Remember, if you want a personal tarot reading, stroke psychic reading, or any energy flow sessions or any spiritual guidance, if you're local, any massage, energy flow massage is beautiful to do. Get in touch with me at truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or you can message me at truedivine44 on Facebook. Mwah.